For the past 11 years, I have been managing food supply chains for commercial distributors. I watch what moves, what sits, what vanishes during shortages. And here's what I have learned. While everyone is panic buying the same freeze-dried meals and rice buckets when news breaks, I quietly walk into Costco and load up on 10 specific bulk items that will still be sitting on those pallets when everything else is gone. Number 7 is available at every Costco right now for under $18, has a shelf life longer than most of us will live, and I have never once seen it cleared out during a run. Not once. The problem is that when everyone reads the same prepper blogs and watches the same survival channels, they all buy the same stuff. That is exactly what disappears first. Back in March 2020, I watched rice and beans get annihilated in 4 hours. But the items I am about to show you, fully stocked the next day, the next week, the next month. If you are smart, you will grab these before March 2026, because the moment harvest reports start hitting mainstream news, it will be too late. And if you are not subscribed, do that now, because I share information like this that nobody else is talking about every single week. Let me start with number 1. This is going to sound boring, and that is exactly why it is brilliant. Kirkland's Signature Canola Oil in the 2-pack of 3-liter bottles. Before you roll your eyes thinking cooking oil is obvious, let me tell you what nobody talks about. Fat is the most calorically dense macronutrient you can store. 9 calories per gram. Carbs and protein. 4. Your body does not just want fat during a crisis. It needs it. And here's the thing about these 6 liters of canola oil. Shelf life is 2 years unopened and stored in a cool, dark space. But I have personally used bottles that were 3 years old with zero rancidity. How do I know? I opened one last month. Smelled fine. Tasted fine. Cooked with it for a week. No issues. You know what else? During shortages, people panic buy butter, olive oil, coconut oil, all the trendy stuff. Canola oil sits there. January 2021, during the Texas freeze when trucks could not move and stores could not restock, I walked into my local Costco. Olive oil? Gone. Avocado oil? Gone. Canola oil? Stacked to the ceiling. And the price is insane. Last time I checked, it was $16.79 for 6 liters. That is $2.80 per liter. Compare that to buying small bottles at a grocery store, where you are paying $6 or $7 per liter. You are saving more than half. Here is what I do. I keep 2 of these packs in my basement pantry, rotate one into my kitchen every 6 months, and replace it immediately. Dead simple system. And when everyone is fighting over boutique oils, this will be sitting there waiting for you. Look, food prices are not going back down, and if the 2026 harvest projections are even half as bad as some agronomists are predicting, the cost of basics is going to spike harder than most people can handle. I have done the math for you and put together a free Costco bulk prep list that shows you exactly which items give you the most calories per dollar, how to store them without fancy equipment, and how long they actually last in real-world conditions, not just theory. It can cover your family for a month and costs less than 3 takeout dinners. You can grab it for free at the link in the description so you can stop second-guessing every grocery trip and start building a pantry that actually makes sense. Number 2 is one that most people have never even considered. Kirkland's Signature Organic Coconut Flour, available in a 3-pound bag. This one is absolute gold, and here is why. Coconut flour has a shelf life of around 12 to 18 months in the original packaging, but transfer it into a food-grade bucket with an oxygen absorber, and you're looking at 5 years, possibly longer. I have bags in my storage that are 2 years old right now. Still good. The reason this is on my list is not just longevity. It is versatility and nutrition density. Coconut flour is 60% dietary fiber. It is packed with protein compared to regular flour. And you only need about a quarter the amount you would use with wheat flour because it absorbs liquid like crazy. A 3-pound bag will go further than you think. But here's the real genius. Most people do not know what coconut flour is. During the 2020 panic, I watched all-purpose flour, bread flour, and even cake flour get cleared out within hours. Coconut flour? Fully stocked. I bought 4 bags that week just to test my theory. 2 weeks later, still fully stocked. The price is around $12 for 3 pounds. Compare that to almond flour, which runs twice that for the same amount and has a much shorter shelf life because of the oil content. Here's what I do with it. I mix it into regular pancake batter, about 1 part coconut flour to 3 parts regular flour. Makes them fluffier, adds fiber, stretches my wheat flour further. I also use it to thicken soups and stews. 2 tablespoons will thicken a pot like cornstarch, but with way more nutrition. This is one of those items that preppers overlook, because it is not on the standard list, which is exactly why you want it. Number 3 is something you probably walk past every time you're in Costco. Kirkland Signature Organic Diced Tomatoes. The 8-pack of cans. Each can is 14.5 ounces. Sounds basic, right? Here is what most people miss. Tomatoes are one of the few vegetables that are actually more nutritious canned than fresh because the canning process breaks down cell walls and makes lycopene more bioavailable. Lycopene is a powerful antioxidant linked to heart health and cancer prevention. You are not losing nutrition here. You are gaining it. And the shelf life on canned tomatoes is ridiculous. Officially, they say 2 to 5 years. I have used cans that were 6 years old. Opened them, looked fine, smelled fine, tasted fine. Used them in chili. No one knew. But here is a strategic reason this makes my list. Canned tomatoes are the base for dozens of meals. You can make pasta sauce, salsa, soup, stew, curry, shakshuka, anything. It is the ultimate flexibility ingredient. And during a shortage, people do not think about canned tomatoes the same way they think about canned beans or vegetables. January 2022, supply chain was a mess. I walked into 3 different stores. Canned green beans? Wiped out. Canned corn? Gone. Canned tomatoes? Shelves were full. The price for the 8-pack is around $9.49. That is about $1.19 per can. At a regular grocery store, you are paying $2 to $3 per can for organic diced tomatoes. You are saving more than half. Here's what I do. I keep 2 packs in my pantry at all times. Every time I use a can, I write the date on my phone. When I am down to 1 pack, I buy 2 more. Rotation is automatic. I never run out. And the flavor is consistent, which matters more than people think. Food monotony during a crisis is real, and it causes decision fatigue. You need ingredients that let you make different meals so you do not burn out mentally. Number 4 is one that is going to sound strange if you have never done this before, but stay with me. Kirkland Signature Raw Almonds, sold in the 3-pound container. Most people think of almonds as a snack. That is a mistake. Almonds are survival food disguised as a snack. Here's why. 1 ounce of almonds, about 23 almonds, contains 6 grams of protein, 14 grams of fat, and 160 calories. That is a serious macronutrient profile. And the fat in almonds is mostly monounsaturated, the same heart-healthy fat in olive oil. But here's the thing nobody talks about. Raw almonds, if stored properly in an airtight container in a cool, dark place, last up to 2 years. I have kept them in vacuum-sealed bags in my basement for 18 months with no loss in flavor or texture. Opened a bag 2 weeks ago. Perfect. During the early pandemic, I watched every type of nut fly off the shelves except raw almonds. People grabbed the roasted, the flavored, the mixed nut cans. Raw almonds sat there. And the Costco price is unbeatable. The 3-pound container runs around $14.99. That is about $5 per pound. At a health food store, you are paying $10 to $12 per pound for raw organic almonds. Here's what I do with them. I eat a handful as a snack, obviously, but I also grind them into almond butter using a food processor. Takes 5 minutes. You control the ingredients, no added sugar or oil. I also chop them and add them to oatmeal or rice for extra protein and texture. And if you are really in a bind, you can make almond milk. 1 cup of almonds, soaked overnight, blended with 4 cups of water, strained. Fresh almond milk for under $2. Compare that to store-bought almond milk at $4 or $5 per carton. This is one of those items where the bulk size actually makes sense because you will use it faster than you think once you start adding it to meals. Number 5 is the one I get the most questions about, and it is Kirkland's Signature Organic Quinoa in the 4.5-pound bag. Before you say quinoa is overrated hippie food, hear me out. Quinoa is one of the only plant foods that contains all 9 essential amino acids. That makes it a complete protein. Rice is not. Beans are not. Quinoa is. That matters in a long-term food crisis when you might not have access to meat or dairy. And the shelf life is incredible. Stored in an airtight container, in a cool, dry place, quinoa lasts 3 to 5 years. I have a bag in my pantry right now that is 2 years old. Cooked some last week. Fluffy, nutty, perfect. No off flavors. No weird texture. And here's the thing. During shortages, people raid the rice aisle. They clear out pasta. But quinoa, it sits. March 2020. I watched it happen. Rice was gone within a day. Quinoa was fully stocked for weeks. The Costco price is around $12.49 for 4.5 pounds. That is less than $3 per pound. At a regular grocery store, you are paying $6 to $8 per pound for organic quinoa. You are saving more than half. Here's what I do with it. I cook quinoa exactly like rice. 1 part quinoa, 2 parts water. Bring to a boil, reduce to simmer, cover for 15 minutes. Done. I use it as a base for stir fries, mix it into soups, or eat it as a side dish with vegetables. It is also great cold. I make big batches, store in the fridge, and add it to salads throughout the week. High protein, high fiber, and it keeps you full longer than rice or pasta. This is one of those items where the nutritional density justifies the space it takes up in your pantry. Number 6 is sitting in the baking aisle, and most people walk right past it. Kirkland Signature Pure Vanilla Extract in a 16-ounce bottle. You are probably thinking vanilla extract is not survival food. You are half right, but here is what nobody talks about. Vanilla extract is 35% alcohol. That makes it shelf-stable indefinitely. I am not exaggerating. Indefinitely. I have a bottle in my pantry that is 4 years old. Still smells like vanilla. Still tastes like vanilla. The alcohol content prevents any bacterial growth. It cannot go bad. But here's the real reason this is on my list: morale. Food monotony during a crisis is not just boring. It is psychologically draining. It makes you irritable, unfocused, and decision-making gets harder. Vanilla extract lets you make basic ingredients taste different. Add it to oatmeal, add it to rice pudding, add it to homemade pancakes or baked goods. Suddenly the same ingredients feel like a different meal. That matters more than most preppers realize. And here's the kicker. During shortages, people do not panic buy vanilla extract. They panic buy flour, sugar, yeast. Vanilla extract sits there. The Costco price is around $23.99 for 16 ounces. Compare that to grocery store vanilla extract, which runs about $8 to $12 for 4 ounces. You are saving more than half. Here is what I do. I keep 1 bottle in my pantry and 1 in my long-term storage. I use it in everything. Coffee, oatmeal, yogurt, baked goods, even smoothies. A little goes a long way. A teaspoon is usually enough for an entire recipe. This 16-ounce bottle will last you years. And if you ever need to barter during a real collapse scenario, vanilla extract is valuable. People want comfort, and vanilla delivers that. Number 7 is the one I mentioned at the start, and it is Kirkland's Signature Organic Chicken Broth in 32-ounce cartons. Sold in a 6-pack. This one is genius for 3 reasons. First, shelf life. Unopened, these cartons last about 18 months to 2 years. I have used cartons that were 1.5 years old. Opened them, smelled fine, tasted fine, used them to make soup. No issues. Second, versatility. Chicken broth is a base for almost every soup, stew, or sauce. It adds flavor to rice, quinoa, and pasta. You can even drink it straight if you need a warm, salty, hydrating meal in a pinch. Third, and this is the big one, during shortages, people do not raid chicken broth the way they raid canned goods. They think canned soup, canned vegetables, canned beans. But cartons of broth? They sit there. Every shortage I have watched, broth stays stocked longer than almost anything else. The Costco price is around $12.99 for 6 32-ounce cartons. That is about $2.17 per carton. Compare that to grocery store prices, which run $3 to $5 per carton for organic broth. You are saving more than half. Here is what I do. I keep 2 6-packs in my pantry. Every time I use a carton, I write the date. When I am down to 1 pack, I buy 2 more. Rotation is automatic. And I use chicken broth for everything. I cook rice in it instead of water. I use it as a soup base. I add it to slow cooker meals. I even heat it up and drink it with a pinch of salt and pepper when I am feeling run down. It is comfort, hydration, and electrolytes in one. This is one of those items where the bulk pack actually makes sense because you will go through it faster than you expect once you start cooking with it regularly. Number 8 is one that most people overlook because it is not flashy. Kirkland's Signature Organic Black Beans, sold in the 8-pack of 15-ounce cans. Black beans are one of the most nutrient-dense foods you can store. 1 cup of cooked black beans contains 15 grams of protein, 15 grams of fiber, and about 227 calories. That is a serious macronutrient profile for something that costs pennies per serving. And the shelf life on canned black beans is incredible. Officially, they say 2 to 5 years. I have used cans that were 6 years old. Open them, rinse them, use them in tacos. No one could tell. But here is a strategic advantage. Canned black beans are ready to eat. No soaking, no cooking, just open and drain. That matters during a power outage or when you are dealing with limited cooking fuel. And during shortages, people think about dried beans, but they do not always think about canned beans. And when they do, they grab pinto or kidney beans before black beans. I watched it happen. The Costco price of the 8-pack is around $10.49. That is about $1.31 per can. Compare that to grocery store prices, which run $2 to $3 per can for organic black beans. You are saving more than half. Here's what I do with them. I rinse them to reduce sodium, then add them to rice, tacos, salads, soups, or burritos. I also mash them with cumin, garlic powder, and a little oil to make refried beans. Takes 5 minutes. You can also blend them into brownies for a high-protein, high-fiber dessert. Sounds weird, but it works. The beans add moisture and nutrition without changing the flavor. This is one of those items where the bulk pack makes sense because you will use it in multiple meals every week once you start experimenting. Number 9. Kirkland's Signature Organic Popcorn Kernels. This one surprises people every time. Popcorn? Really? Yes. And most people misunderstand it completely. They think snack aisle, movie night, butter-soaked microwave bags with artificial flavor packets. Popcorn is a whole grain, not a junk food pretending to be healthy. A literal whole grain, high in fiber, low in calories, shelf-stable, mechanically simple. It is dried corn with a hull intact. That's it. Stored in an airtight container in a cool, dry place, popcorn kernels last for years. Indefinitely, realistically. I have kernels in my pantry that are 3 years old. Popped a batch last week. Perfect expansion. No difference. Here is what no one talks about. Cheap calories with structure. 3 tablespoons of unpopped kernels yields roughly 5 cups of popped popcorn, about 110 calories. For grams of protein, 5 grams of fiber. That fiber matters when your diet shifts towards shelf-stable foods. Digestive stability is morale. The 3.5-pound bag at Costco runs around $8.99, roughly $2.57 per pound. Compare that to microwave popcorn at $5 to $7 per pound, plus artificial butter flavoring, stabilizers, preservatives. With kernels, you control everything. Stovetop, heavy pot, 2 tablespoons of neutral oil, half cup of kernels, lid slightly vented, 5 minutes. Done. Salt, nutritional yeast, chili powder, cinnamon and sugar, whatever fits the moment. It feels like a treat. That matters. During shortages, people grab chips, crackers, cookies. Highly processed, short shelf life, expensive per ounce. Popcorn kernels sit untouched because they are not marketed as comfort food, but they are. There's also versatility. Grind popped popcorn into a coarse crumb. Use it as breading for chicken or fish. It creates a light, crunchy crust and stretches more expensive proteins. Blend it finer and fold into meatballs as filler. Mix into granola for texture. Add to trail mix. It adapts, and it stores densely. A single bag produces dozens of large bowls. Minimal packaging. No single-use waste. No foil-lined trash bags after every batch. Fuel efficiency matters too. Popcorn cooks fast. lower fuel demand than simmering rice or beans. If you are cooking on limited propane or a camp stove, 5-minute grains are an advantage. Psychology again. A bowl of warm popcorn on a stressful night feels normal. Familiar. It gives you crunch, salt ritual. That normalcy has value beyond macros. Whole grain, fiber-rich, cheaper pound, multi-year shelf stability, flexible, overlooked. This is one of those items that give you a psychological win, while quietly being nutrient-dense and economical. It is not just a snack. It is smart. Number 10. Kirkland's signature iodized sea salt. This is the one that ties everything together. You are probably thinking, salt? That's obvious. Everyone knows to stock salt. Yes, and almost everyone does it inefficiently. They grab the small cylindrical table salt canister at the grocery store. Perfectly fine for everyday cooking. Terrible for value. Worse for long-term planning. You pay $3 to $5 per pound without noticing because it is split into tidy little packages. The 5-pound Kirkland container runs about $6.49, roughly $1.30 per pound. That is less than half the unit price of most small grocery store containers. Over time, that spread matters, especially on something you will use forever. And here's the part people gloss over. Iodized. Your thyroid requires iodine to function properly. Without adequate iodine intake, you're looking at brain fog, fatigue, cold sensitivity, metabolic slowdown. In normal times, diets are varied enough to patch this together. In constrained times, pantry meals, repetitive staples, less seafood, fewer fresh foods, iodine intake quietly drops. Iodized salt closes that gap automatically. Trend salts will not. Himalayan pink. Salt looks good on a cutting board. Flaky finishing salts feel gourmet. But most of them are not iodized. During shortages, people reach for what feels premium. Meanwhile, the iodized container sits untouched because it is plain. Plain wins long term. Salt's shelf life is indefinite. It does not spoil. It does not lose potency. It does not meaningfully degrade if kept dry. I have salt stored for 5 years. It tastes like salt because it is salt, a stable mineral. That is rare. But here is the real genius. Versatility. Salt seasons. Obvious. Salt preserves. Cabbage becomes sauerkraut. Cucumbers become pickles. Vegetables last months instead of days. Salt controls fermentation. It creates safe environments for beneficial bacteria. Salt cleans. Mix with vinegar or lemon. It becomes a scrub. Salt soothes. Warm salt water rinses for oral hygiene. Saline solution in a pinch. Emergency. Wound irrigation, if properly diluted, and clean water is available. Few items in your pantry do this much for this little money. Here's my structure. 1 5-pound container in the kitchen. 2 in long-term storage. Rotate naturally because you will always use it. Cooking rice. Salting pasta water. Brining meat. Fermenting vegetables. Scrubbing cast iron. Bulk only makes sense when the item is universal and non-perishable. Salt qualifies on both counts. This is not panic buying. This is math. You will never stop using salt. It will never expire. It costs less per pound in bulk. And iodization quietly protects one of the most critical glands in your body. Boring. Foundational. Indispensable. If you're going to buy one thing on this list in quantity, make it this. While everyone else is fighting over the same freeze-dried meals and prepper cliches, you now know 10 items that are cheaper, easier to store, and will actually still be available when the panic buying starts. These are not theoretical. I have watched these items stay in stock during every shortage I have witnessed over the past decade. Drop a comment telling me which one of these you are stocking up on first. And next week, I am revealing the 7 tools everyone thinks are essential for emergencies, but are actually useless when things really go sideways. You do not want to miss that one.